Hello and welcome to episode 27 of Marbella with him and her. He is
PJ Lopez and she is
Hannah Murray.
And you're going to start this week with an apology and a correction for a few weeks ago, aren't you? It's about 2 weeks ago, I think, the podcast.
Yeah.
Your London podcast, to be precise.
Mm-hmm. I would like to report the sad passing of Richard Attenborough, who we allegedly saw in London a couple of weeks ago. But very exciting. All right.
Correctly.
Okay, let me just set the scene. We thought we saw him on a train in London and we were saying, oh, Santa Claus, we could hear his voice. It looked like him. It sounded like him. It wasn't him. He died 10 years ago in 2014 at the age of 90.
So he would have been 100 when you saw him.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Richard. I'm sorry. It wasn't him. I've no idea who it was, but it was someone who looked and sounded like Richard Attenborough. And it wasn't his brother David.
No.
So thank you, Paul, for letting us know that. So embarrassing.
Do you feel a little bit silly?
Yeah, I do feel a little bit silly.
Do you want to move on then?
Yeah, okay, shall we? It's been raining.
Yes, thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
Very, very frightening.
Galileo. There's been water coming out of the sky. It was thunder, lightning, grey skies. It was overcast since we woke up this morning, wasn't it? Yes. We're recording this on Saturday, by the way, because we've got a busy, fun day planned tomorrow, so we needed to get this recorded on the Saturday.
Although a very fun part of our Sunday normally is doing the podcast.
Oh, of course. We're just not going to be here to do it.
Correct.
So did you enjoy the thunder and lightning and rain?
I did, actually. It was quite exciting. There was like some fork lightning. I was trying to get pictures. Fork lightning, yes. I was trying to get...
Holy fork. Right, go on.
Can I finish?
I was trying to work out a joke and that wasn't very good.
So I was trying to get video footage, and every time it happened, I thought, okay, so I'll carry on filming. And I was filming for about 2 minutes and nothing happened. So then I stopped, so I'll delete the one that happened last time. Just as I did that, there was lightning. And every time that happened, I missed it. So I gave up in the end.
Oh, it's annoying. It's lovely. All the plants and the grass are getting watered. It's really nice.
It is. I sat out in it for a little while, actually, when it started raining.
Well, it was funny. We sat out just before. You could tell it was going to rain. And we were sitting outside on the terrace. And it was so quiet. We live really...
You don't need to be quiet when you talk about being quiet.
Well, it's onomatopoeic.
Have you seen a doctor about that?
Got cream for it. But we live near a paddle ground, so we can always hear tennis balls and things being battered about all the time. And we couldn't hear anything. There were no cars, and it was just really still and quiet. It was amazing. It was like COVID times.
Yes, which wasn't the best time in the world.
But it was like everybody was asleep.
I'll tell you what was really strange. So just as the thunder and lightning started, and then I think it was obviously ramping up for the rain part of it, literally all these birds, I think they looked like pigeons, suddenly came from the direction of the sea, flew like a rate of knots towards the buildings. And then they were obviously like sheltering under sort of,
They
did. I was waiting for fish to come sort of like leaping around and cats and dogs to come running up, and then I'd be really worried that something serious was happening.
Yes, a tsunami on the way or something. Anyway, thankfully not. But apparently it's going to be gorgeous tomorrow. 30 degrees, sunshine, which is good because we have a beach day.
In Elveria.
Yeah, where it has actual beach.
That's not a lady's name, by the way, because that would be weird if we were beaching in Elveria.
Yeah, let's not do that. No, we're going to a place called Elveria, which is the other side of Marbella.
It's East Marbella.
It has really nice sand. You don't need shoes in order to get into the sea. It's lovely. So we're really looking forward to doing that with our friends.
Yes, we've done it before, and it's a lovely time, isn't it? We go there, we have some snacky things on the beach, and then we have lunch.
Yes.
And a few drinky poos.
Hence why we also needed to record this today. I wanted to report, it was really cool, at the quiz this week on Thursday night in the Hogan stand, there were 2 lots of 4 guys who had never been to the quiz before and were here on holiday and had found the advertisement on Facebook. I have a Facebook group called the Hannah's Quiz Night, and each week I do a quiz, or if I'm ever doing a quiz anywhere else, I will publicise it on there and then I'll share it on my personal one. And only people who are friends with me will see my personal one, but anyone has access to Hannah's Quiz Night group and anyone can like it or join it. And there was a group of 4 men who were there who said, oh, great social media publicising the quiz. And I thought they were being sarcastic at first. I was like, really? And they said, yeah, we're just here for a few days. We were on our way from the airport with our luggage and everything and wanted to go to a quiz. So in the taxi, we had a look on Facebook and saw what we could find and found yours everywhere. So that's how we came to the quiz, which was great. And they bought me a drink and they were really complimentary. They said they go to quizzes all the time, wherever they go on holiday, and they thought mine was great.
It is great.
Oh, that was really nice.
You've had 13 years of practice, haven't you?
Yeah, it should be all right by now. But there was another group of 4 guys who were here just for the weekend to play golf in Los Vaqueros. And same thing, they fancied a quiz night and found it advertised on Facebook. So social media advertising, all of which was free, by the way.
Yeah, well, it wasn't advertising, was it? It was social media posting. So it's organic posting that you're doing, not paying for it. But that's what I do for a living, digital marketing. So it works. So if you're wanting digital marketing, just follow me on Instagram and I'm available to speak.
At PJ Lopez 1 Marbella. Got to say what your Instagram is.
Yes, that helps. See, I'm not very good at social media.
Self-promotion. I was really excited and I'm a little disappointed thus far, but I need some help to make it work. Magic Styler, one of the things I really wanted for my birthday. So there's this thing called the Dyson hair wrap, which costs like 700 or 800 quid, which is basically a hair dryer.
Say quid.
Oh, I don't know, euros. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, we haven't lived in the UK for 20 years.
I know. Who says quid? Euros, thank you. And it's basically a hairdryer, but then there's loads of different things attachments that you clip on the top.
So there's lots of hand movements going on here, but you can't see that.
No, it helps me think of the words sometimes. One of which is this air wrap thing, which looks really cool. I'm sure all the ladies particularly would have seen videos on social media. So it looks like a curling tong, but a much thicker curler, basically, heated curler. But there's air coming out of it. And you put it up with a little bit of hair. Basically, the hair kind of curls itself around. And then you hold it there for a few seconds and you take it away and it has bouncy curls. It looks amazing. But 700 or 800 euros to spend on this thing is utterly ridiculous. But it's made by Dyson and they're always expensive.
Yours isn't and wasn't 700 euros.
No, mine was the Magic Styler. I'd done a bit of research and spoken to some friends about a good dupe copy. And this one was recommended. It was like 70 euros monthly.
Yes, about that.
A Magic Styler, it's called. It arrived eventually, like 3 weeks later.
Well, yeah, I checked 2 weeks after, because I was hoping it was going to get here for your birthday. I ordered it in plenty of time for that. And it just didn't appear. So I looked on the website and it hadn't actually left, or I hadn't even done anything. It was on order. It wasn't in the warehouse. Turns out that they ran out of stock, but they didn't update that. And they weren't answering any social media queries. They weren't answering emails. I thought, we've been ripped off. And I was about to cancel it because I did it through PayPal. And luckily you can get your money back through PayPal.
It was a bit of a worry because looking online, there were lots of reviews with people saying the same thing. But then there were also lots of reviews of people saying it arrived much later than it said, but when it did, it was great. So I was quietly confident that we were going to get it. It was just going to be late. Yeah, I said, please don't cancel it. Just let's wait and see.
Then all of a sudden, I got an email saying, sorry, been out of stock. We apologise profusely. It's on its way. And then within a week, it arrived, I think.
So anyway, it arrived. I was desperate to try it. I tried it. I couldn't get it to work. It did go around the thing, but then when I took it away, there was no curl. So I'm speaking to a hairdresser friend of mine and I'm going to go and have a little trial session with her because I need to get it to work.
Yes, and funny enough, you were in when it arrived from the postman, but you didn't hear him ring.
No, I did hear him ring. I did hear him.
By the time you got down, he'd gone.
He'd gone, yeah.
Yeah, so you had to go and collect it from the post office.
It was a bit of a nightmare. I don't want to bore people with the details, but basically I ended up at a postal collection place in San Pedro because it wasn't at the post office. And went to collect it, had it there ready, and then they said, oh, there's another one for you. All of this was in Spanish, by the way, of course. And there was a small parcel that was arrived from the UK, and I could see that it had my auntie's address on it, that it had come from her. So I assumed it was a birthday present type thing, which is lovely. But I had to pay €7.46 in order to take the parcel. I had a €20 note or €6 in change, and they didn't have change. So they said, no, we can't give it to you now. You'll have to collect it on Monday from the post office. and pay €7.46 for the privilege.
And that was because it came from the UK. So this hairstyler came all the way from China with no tax. And this came from the UK, and you have to pay €7.46 tax.
It has been since Brexit, hasn't it?
Oh, that's the only reason you're paying
this didn't happen
€7.46.
before.
Yep.
Oh, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So very annoying. So I'm going to have to say to friends and family, please don't send us things, which is horrible, isn't it? Because it's such a lovely, thoughtful thing.
Right, at least yours arrive. Some people get stuck in customs for like weeks, and they have to release it there and pay €30 and stuff. Awful.
Right, pain. Last night, we had a fabulously fun evening. We went to the Mijas Hash House Harriers end of summer ball, which was at a restaurant that we've never been to before called Play, which is in Las Lagunas de Mijas, so kind of Fuengirola way, that end of the coast.
Literally right overlooking the beach, isn't it? So it's on the other side of the Carretera.
So it's up high.
So it's up high. And you just look out
the sea.
Amazing.
Where we were sitting out on the terrace, which is lovely. So the Mijas Hash House Harriers, just to give a little bit of background, hashing has nothing to do with drugs whatsoever. It is basically a running club, or the tagline is actually a drinking club with a running problem, which kind of gives you a little bit of background. Hashing started in the 1920s in Malaysia by some expats, some men who were there who decided to start a running club of sorts, but they also like to drink, and that's where it kind of came from. And hashing is all over the world. The Mijas Hash started in the 90s and has been going ever since. They do a run every Sunday without fail, whatever the weather is. If it falls on Christmas Day, New Year's Day, doesn't matter, every Sunday. And it's a brilliant group of people. Everyone who's a hasher, who I've met from all around the world, is always really lovely and friendly. And it's a great way to travel. You can meet up with other hashers and go on hashes around the world, and it's fab. You like it too, don't you?
Yes, so I've done quite a few as well with you. Never heard of it before I met you, and I knew you were doing it, and I was quite reluctant at first to get involved, but then when you do get involved, it's amazing. I mean, you're going through the Campo or through places that you'd never go to normally. You see so much of the countryside and so many different places. We've been on camp outs where we go to different places and literally camp. We've been on international runs, haven't we, where loads of people from all over the world come. We've done red dress runs where I dress up in a red dress and run through the middle of Fuengirola. Even last night there were hashers from Portugal that were there and some others from somewhere else. I can't remember where the others were from, but a few international people.
Yeah, which is really nice. And honestly, that you can be walking along with people who are unemployed and are looking for work, or you can be walking next to people who are millionaires with multiple properties and whatever else. But it's a great kind of leveler. It doesn't matter who you are, your background, where you're from. If you're a hasher, then they'll, welcome.
You can't be too sensitive to go hashing, because the only way I can describe it is as a bit like a rugby club. They have sort of these rituals after the hash. Initiations and things. So, yeah, you've got to be quite thick-skinned and have a sense of humour. Really recommend it. If you love walking, you love the countryside, and you've got a sense of humour,
yes,
then go hashing.
Key. That's definitely key. It's not all about exercise. It's not all about drinking, but slightly more about drinking than exercise. Definitely sense of humour, because there's songs that are sang and people rip the whatever out of you.
Yeah, and invariably the songs are quite rude.
Yes, definitely. But we like Jimmy Carr, so hashing's a walk in the park.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
If you want to check them out, the website is mijas3.com, mijas3.com, but we'll put a link in the show notes. So a few Sarah English articles to mention, because we haven't done a lot this week. There you go. There's a week where we only have one social event to talk about.
Well, we are, because we are now on the 2 times a week rehearsals. So that's on a Monday and Wednesday now. And then obviously the quiz is on a Thursday. So we don't have a lot of time to do stuff.
No. Tuesday I need to concentrate on doing the quiz and TV prep and all that kind of stuff. So, so Sarah English articles. There was an interesting piece from a few weeks ago that I don't think we mentioned, that has gone viral around the world. This is all to do with dating in Mercadona. And if you want to meet someone, then you need to get a fresh pineapple, and put it upside down in your shopping trolley and hang out in the wine aisle between 7 and 8.
I've got a problem. I generally hang out in the wine aisle between 7 and 8 normally anyway. when I'm looking
Just
for my
make
wife.
sure you're not doing it with a pineapple. All right, love.
Okay. What about if I've got some dates?
That's fine. It's an upside down pineapple.
Okay.
If you desperately need a pineapple, just make sure it's up the right way.
Okay. All right. What about my plums?
No, you leave your plums out of it.
Okay. Just a pineapple then.
Just a pineapple.
I might try it just to see what happens.
I know. Well, I was thinking about it today. I mean, it wasn't between 7 and 8, but I thought it would be a fun experiment. But then I got scared and thought, well, you never know what kind of attention you might attract.
Well, there'd probably be a bunch of photographers jump out and start taking photographs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We found one.
But apparently it has got out of control in some places. I read that the police had to be called.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what were they doing?
Well, I don't know. There was a lot of pineapples and a lot of trolleys and a lot of excitable singletons, I guess.
Gosh. It's now, see, most people around the world hadn't heard of Mercadona, and now everybody knows about Mercadona. Good publicity. Yeah.
Absolutely. There was a lovely piece in the Surrey English about Starlite, the concert venue that we've been to a few times this year. Because the season is over now. The concerts are from the 14th of June to the 31st of August. And they said that the concerts have attracted over 350,000 fans. The impact of the festival in terms of GDP is more than 315 million euros. Isn't that incredible?
Well, the tickets are quite expensive, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing for the economy. More than 1,000 jobs as well were created.
No, that's great. And I've read some conflicting things about Starlite now, about them potentially moving from that venue because it's so residential and it's causing a lot of issues, to potentially moving it somewhere else. I mean, there was talk about building one in Estepona, but they're talking about moving it from Nagueles down to somewhere else, aren't they?
That would be a big thing, because one of the great things about it is the venue itself, how it's carved into the mountain. It's quite special.
Yeah, and I mean, it is open air, because they go on to the early hours of the morning. Once the concert's finished, you know, there's restaurants, there's bars, there's music.
But I absolutely sympathise with the residents who live nearby. Every time I go to a concert there, I think, gosh, imagine living here.
They changed the roads. You can't go up your road, you can't go down your road. I mean, you can't even park in your road sometimes.
On it throughout the summer, but if you live there and you need to go anywhere in your car in the evening, any night of the week when these concerts are on, it must be a nightmare.
Most houses up in Nagueles are quite expensive. They're quite luxury villas.
Yeah, nice
so,
properties.
Yeah, it's not great for them.
No. And I saw a hilarious video of a beachgoer on a semi-submerged deck chair in Spain, which has also gone viral around the world. It was in Cádiz, which is the province next to Malaga, down towards Gibraltar way, but on the Spanish coast, obviously. It's the start of the Costa de la Luz, Cádiz. It's a city as well as a province. And there was a man who was basically sitting on a deck chair that he'd taken with him with a parasol above him. And he was holding up his rucksack because the water was up to his chest. And he was just sitting there quite happily. There were people sort of swimming around him. And then apparently he got out a beer from his rucksack and was swinging on a beer. I guess it was nice and cool being in the water.
I can only assume that was the reason, and he's just not stupid.
Who knows? But he looked quite happy.
I'll try it tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe not. Well, that's it from us.
Sorry? Didn't you get invited to be on somebody's podcast this week?
Yes, I forgot to put that in the notes. Yes, I did. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I was on a podcast. I don't know when the podcast is going to air. Next week sometime, I think. I was invited by a couple called Enda and Maria. Enda is from Ireland and his wife Maria is from Spain. I interviewed them for my book show this week. They contacted me to explain what they did and said, oh, maybe we can do a collab. We'll have each other on each other's shows kind of thing. And they live in Madrid and they have a publishing company. They've only been going about a year. They publish books in Spanish and English. And they have a podcast where they interview interesting people. And they also have written books themselves. Amazing couple, really, really clever, doing lots of different things. So it was really lovely to be invited onto their podcast, ebernia.com. That's the letter Y, and Bernia, ebernia.com, if you want to check them out. So I'll let you know when it's going to go out, but I think it'll be next week. But it was basically mainly about the book show because of the book connection. So I was talking about the book show on Talk Radio Europe. I also talked about the other radio show. and the book show section I do on Good Morning Spain each week on the television, which they were excited to hear about. And I mentioned our podcast as well. So it was lovely to be on their show. Thank you for reminding me.
No, well, one of us has to stay alert.
I have no excuse either. So that is it.
I think it definitely is it this time.
Okay, it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from her.